Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you on here, and I hope you guys can try these mandalas and have a fun time doing it. So before we get started on the mandala design, I'm going to explain our tools. So the tools I use are color-coded, so they have a color on the top of the tools. When you buy them off of Temu or Amazon, they usually just come clear. So first off, for the twirly tools, I do not use the green twirly for any of my tutorials, so you can set this one aside. As for the rods, the largest two rods, I, again, also do not use for any of my tutorials, but if you're doing like a bigger project on your own time, then of course you can use these. So now to help you understand what I have color-coded, you can lay them out biggest to smallest. The biggest one, which is the green one, next size down, we have it marked as the blue stick. And then next size down after the blue is the white stick. After the white stick, it's the yellow stick. And then we have the pink stick. And then last but not least, trying to pick them up, is the black stick. And then of course we have the twirlies. These are self-explanatory. They are color-coded already. You can color code them yourself. We use just nail polish on the tops of the tools. We can get started with the design now. So for today's class, I'm going to be using this color palette. For paint color number 1, I'm using Craft Smart Natural Buff. Paint color number 2, I'm using Craft Smart Multi-Surface Pink Bliss. For paint color number 3, I'm using Craft Smart Metallic Rose. Paint color number 4 is Craft Smart Green. Paint color number 5 is Craft Smart Olive Green. And paint color number 6 is Craft Smart Multi-Surface Metallic Radiant Gold. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started on our owl. We are first going to do his belly here. We're gonna use the pink stylus, the bigger end with paint color 3. And in each little bump here, you're gonna try and find the center and drag up to a point.
In the bigger end?
Yes, that's the bigger end. So you're gonna do this in all of the little bumps. Now we're going to move on and we're going to switch to the smaller end of the pink stylus. The next color is going to be paint color 4, and just on either end of our swoosh that we did, just 2 on either end like that.
Smaller end of the...
Yes, smaller end. Next, we're still going to use the pink stylus, smaller end. We're going to use paint color 6. Once again, doing swishes on either side. For the next color, we're going to be using paint color 2, still the same size, pink stylus, smaller end. Okay, and for the very last color, we're going to use paint color 3, once again with the smaller end. And if you have any space that needs color 3, and just fill in the rest of the gaps. So if you need 2 swishes in one gap, you can go ahead and do both in this color.
What if you do the whole row?
3. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the back of the owl. To start off, we're going to use the blue stick and paint color 4. And just place this first dot right on that center dot. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus, smaller end, with paint color 2. And we're gonna place a dot where each of these little lines are. So make sure you get as close to the middle dot as possible. So down here where there are no lines, you're just going to place 1 dot like that, and then 2 dots beside it in the gaps, like that. So you should end up with 8 dots in total.
Yeah. Big stylus, small. Be fine. No, yeah, no.
Once you have those 8 dots, once again going in with the same tool, pink stylus, smaller end, same color, you're going to place a dot in each gap.
Okay, wait, am I behind? In what color? Yeah, because we're gonna put some more.
Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus bigger end with paint color 5. And we're going to place these dots above and in between. So not straight above the dots like this, but kind of where the in between is. So you'll do this all the way around. So you should end up with 16 in total. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the white stylus, the bigger end with paint color 1. And doing the same thing, placing these above the in-between. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the blue stylus, bigger end with paint color 3. Once again, doing the same thing above the in-between. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stick with paint color 4. Paint color 4, pink stick, and we're going to place a dot on each of our little lines. You should have 5 dots. Next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus with paint color 6. And we're going to walk the dots like we practiced. So bigger end of the pink stylus for the first dot like that. Then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and then without re-dipping, walk around one side, re-dip, and do the other side. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus with paint color 2. Doing the same thing, bigger end for that first dot, and then smaller end to go around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus, the smaller end, with paint color 1. And we're going to start in between our walking the dots like this. Small drag in between, and then 2 on either side.
Smaller and lots of paint. Smaller inches.
Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stick with paint color 5. And we're just going to place a dot right above our seashells. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus with paint color 3. You're gonna start with the bigger end for the first dot, and then switch to the smaller end and walk the dots around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus once again, paint color 4, doing the same thing, bigger end for that first dot, smaller end to go around. Next step, we're gonna use the white stylus with paint color 6. Same thing, bigger end for that first dot, smaller end to go around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the white stylus, bigger end with paint color 2. And we're walking the dots once again, bigger end for the first dot, but you're not gonna switch to the smaller end. You're just gonna re-dip the bigger end and go around with the bigger end.
With the big one. Okay. So just using the big one for it all.
Okay, next step, we're gonna use the black stick and the pink stylus. And we're going to use paint color 1. So with the black stick, you're going to place a dot in between like that. And then with the smaller end, you're going to drag down in between to make a teardrop. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white stylus, the bigger end with paint color 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to place 3 dots like a pyramid, like that, and then just 1 extra dot on top of that pyramid like this. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink stick with paint color 3 and just placing a dot above our little tower. Next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus with paint color 4, and we're gonna walk the dots, bigger end for the first dot, smaller end to go around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stick once again with paint color 6, doing the same thing. Bigger end for the first dot, smaller end for the wrist. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the white stylus with paint color 2. Big end for the first dot, smaller end to go around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the white stylus once again with paint color 1. And we're going to walk the dots one more time. Bigger end going all the way around. So bigger end for the first dot, redip, and bigger end all the way around.
Didn't we just use paint color 1? 2.
Use paint color 2.
Oh. Mine was 1. Okay. Switch colors. I'm switching colors.
Okay, next step, we're gonna use the blue stylus with paint color 3. We're gonna use the bigger end. Make sure you get a lot of paint for this. We're going to start, so here's the first dot, second dot of the walking dots. We're gonna start about in between them, but much further out. Then you're gonna go in and then down and around.
Oh, yeah, right. That's not gonna work. Yeah. I don't remember what that was.
I think you're just gonna know.
Like that.
Next up, we're gonna take the blue stylus, once again, the bigger end, with paint color 6. We're going to start much lower. Once again, starting a bit further out, going in and around. Okay, next step, we're going to use the white stylus, smaller end. We're going to do another swoosh, but it's going to be small and it's the last swoosh of the day. So smaller end of the white stylus with paint color 4, and once again starting lower than the last one we did, and just a small little Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and continue on the owl. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on his eyes. So for this first outer ring, we're gonna use the pink stick, black stick, and the pink stylus. Okay, we're gonna start with the pink stick, and we're using paint color 3. And you're just gonna you're just gonna start basically placing dots around this first ring. So it does get slightly smaller towards the center over here, so you're just gonna keep going until you can't place it anymore with the pink stick. Then you'll move down to the black stick and finish it all the way around. So I placed around 5 dots with my pink stick, now moving down to the black stick to continue around. And then once you've got all those dots going around, you can use the pink stylus, the smaller end, with paint color 6, and place little dots like this. Yes, 6.
Smaller than pink?
Mm-hmm. Then for the second row around the eye, basically the same thing, but you're going to have to use one size up. We're going to use the yellow stick, and we're going to use paint color 4 or 5. You can choose your favorite. And once again, starting with the yellow stick, just finding those biggest parts, using the yellow stick there, and then you can go down to the pink stick, black stick, and then you might even have to go down to the white stylus to fill it up.
No, you can good. Yeah, she says yellow. Yellow stick. So yellow stick. Yeah. No, it's yellow stick. That's jail. So yellow.
No, yeah, it's right next to yellow. And if you need smaller. Time to go to bed. These guys keep. Can I just buy one? Oh my gosh.
And just like the first row, you're going to use the pink stylus with paint color 6 for those little dots in between. And then for the center of your eye, you're going to use the green stick with paint color 2. And just fill in that center. Okay, next we're going to do the owl's little eyebrow area here. So we're going to use the blue stylus, the bigger end, with paint color 1 and whatever your other lightest color is. So for my palette, it would be 1 and this one. So just look at your palette, whatever number 1 is, and your lightest color. That's the 2 colors you're gonna use. And you're just gonna fill this whole eyebrow area with dots. Or you can do something more interesting and do something like this, if you want. This is optional. I'm gonna do this.
This one doesn't have more light. Oh, yeah. I think it needs a little. It needs a white or something. It does.
Green.
This is your, well, maybe some of it if you want to add it. That's a lot of it.
So once you guys are done with the eyebrows, you can start gluing on the little beads onto his cheeks, sides, I don't even know. Just over here, you're gonna start gluing the beads. So in your packet of beads, you will have 2 eyes, so make sure you don't glue those onto the cheeks. So you will either have green iridescent eyes like this, or purple, or like these black iridescent eyes. So these are the colors you should have for your eyes, so make sure to set 2 of those aside because those are going to be for your eyeballs. But you guys can use the all the other ones, just putting them on the sides like that. You're going to use, I'm sorry? Just on the sides here.
Okay. Oh, and then we're gonna fill it. And then we dot after that?
Yes, and then you'll use paint in between paint colors. If you look to the side of your guys' paint palette, you will see A, B, C. You're going to use mostly A and B and just a little bit of C here and there.
And then we glue them on the varnish?
Yes, you should have a small blue paintbrush that you can use. Just put a little dab onto the owl, stick the gem on. You can use this pink tool, has a little bit of wax on the tip. You should just be able to press onto the gem and it'll pick it up and hold it for you. And you can use this to put it onto the owl.
I love it.
For the final step, just make sure you put your eyes onto the owl. I wouldn't recommend putting them right in the middle because he's gonna look pretty weird. So either have it facing up a little bit.
Good thing it wasn't your first one. That's for sure. I also train one coworker 1 week and a different one a different week on how to do it. It's fun too. Do you like the training aspect? I think it makes me, you know, when they say like how you learn information, when the last way to really master it is to teach somebody else. I definitely think that came through here. And the whole concept of I have to get it back.
Yeah, see, that's what I've had a hard time with, I think.
Not allowed to foster
humans. I don't know what we're doing on the top. Dots on the top. Okay, got it. Yeah, but just a different, these colors.